Walked into the banquet hall, expecting the usual chatter, laughter, and clinking glasses. Instead, a wave of whispers hit me as soon as I stepped inside. "Sam, over here." Vanessa called, her smile sharp, polished. "I've been waiting for you." I froze. "Waiting for me?" My voice caught. She looked stunning in that red dress. The one I'd once thought was made for me to admire. "Yes," she said, voice sweet like poison. "I wanted everyone to meet the man who, well, tried so hard." She tilted her head, eyes sparkling in that cruel way. "Sam, everyone, this is my boyfriend." I blinked. Around the room, colleagues murmured, some polite smiles, some barely disguised smirks. My stomach turned. "Boyfriend?" I asked, trying to steady my tone. Vanessa laughed softly. "Oh, Sam Dante played dumb. You know exactly what I mean." Her eyes darted to a large screen above the stage. "Why don't you tell them about your little project?" My throat tightened. "Project," I said, swallowing. The screen flickered on, displaying graphs, numbers, a disastrous report I'd been trying to fix for weeks. Comments in bold read, "Failed to meet expectations." "Poor judgment." "Risky decisions." The laughter hit me first. Not a gentle chuckle, but loud, sharp bursts from people I considered friends. I felt my face burn. "Vanessa, what the hell is this?" "Oh, come on," she said, tilting her chin. "You've been working so hard to impress everyone. I thought a little exposure might help." "You'll thank me later, exposure." I stepped closer. My hands curled into fists at my sides. "You humiliated me in front of everyone?" "Humiliate?" She smiled, tilting her head, innocent. "I'm just helping you see reality, Sam. Maybe now you'll learn to handle pressure." I looked around. Faces I trusted stared back, some shocked, some laughing quietly. Jacob, my teammate, avoided my eyes. I didn't know his voice trailed off. "You didn't know what?" I snapped. "You didn't know she's been setting me up? Or you didn't care?" "Sam, calm down," Jacob stammered. It's just a party." "A party?" I echoed. "You call destroying my career a party?" My voice cracked. "You call this fun?" Vanessa tilted her head. "Fun is subjective, darling. Some people need lessons taught in public." "You're so sensitive." I clenched my jaw. "Sensitive? Sensitive as being stabbed in the back by someone you loved and watching everyone laugh at it." She laughed. Soft, cruel, stabbed. "Oh, Sam, you're being dramatic. You've been so serious all your life. I thought I was helping you lighten up." I took a step closer. "Helping me? By making me a joke? You don't love me? You never did. You love power, control, watching me squirm?" She shrugged. "Maybe. But don't take it personally. Everyone needs entertainment. You've been such a perfect target." A hand touched my shoulder. I flinched. "It's okay," Emma said softly. "Walk away if you want." I shook my head. "No, I want her to hear this." I turned to Vanessa. "You thought you were clever? You thought you could break me and walk away laughing. You miscalculated." Her smile faltered for a fraction of a second. "Miscalculated?" "Yes," I said, voice low, firm. "I may be humiliated tonight, but I won't be broken forever. This isn't the end of me." She laughed again, sharp. Bold words for a man in ruins. I smiled back, cold and bitter. "Maybe, but even ruins can rise. And I promise, Vanessa, I will rise higher than you could ever imagine." The room felt smaller, tighter, my heart beat loud in my ears. Colleagues whispered, some unsure, some impressed. I didn't care. I focused on one thing: Vanessa's eyes, widening slightly as she sensed the change in me. The fire I had just ignited. "You'll see," I said, voice steadier. "This isn't the end of my story. Not by a long shot." She opened her mouth as if to argue, but I turned, ignoring her, feeling my determination harden with every step away from the stage. The humiliation burned, but beneath it, a bitter seed of strength and revenge took root. I walked out of the banquet hall with my chin high, heart pounding, mind racing. Tonight, Vanessa thought she had one, but she didn't know she had just lit the fire I'd been waiting to unleash, and that fire was unstoppable. I slammed the door behind me and sank onto the couch. My phone buzzed. I didn't want to see it, but curiosity won. Vanessa, of course, had fun tonight. Everyone loved the show. I stared at the screen, hand trembling. Show, you mean my humiliation? I muttered aloud, another buzz. Vanessa again. Don't be so sensitive. It was all in good fun. You'll thank me later. I threw the phone across the room. Fun? Do you even hear yourself? Emma's text lit up next. Sam, are you okay? People are talking. I typed back, hands shaking. I'm fine. Just leave me alone, then deleted it. No, I couldn't let her see me weak. The doorbell rang. I didn't answer. Footsteps faded. My mind replayed every laugh, every pointed finger. Jacob's eyes. The whispers. The screen flashing my failures. I couldn't breathe. Why her? Why did she do this? I muttered, pacing. Why me? Emma's voice called through a text. Come out. Get some air. Don't isolate yourself. I typed back harshly. I'm not your project. I'll handle it. Silence. Perfect. I sank back onto the couch, staring at the ceiling. The humiliation burned like acid in my chest. Every memory of that party stabbed me again. I could hear Vanessa's laugh echoing, sharp and cruel. Asterisk, Sam, I whispered, bitter. You think you're clever? You think you're strong? My phone buzzed again. This time, Jacob. Hey, if you need to talk, talk, I said aloud. You couldn't even look me in the eye while she humiliated me. What can you possibly say? Another buzz. Vanessa, you really should lighten up. It was entertaining for everyone. Don't be so dramatic. I laughed bitterly. Dramatic? Dramatic? You've turned my life into a joke. I'm supposed to laugh with you? Emma's text returned. Sam, don't let her win. You're better than this. Better than this. I muttered. Better than a world where everyone laughs at you while the person you love smirks. I ran my hands through my hair. Rage, humiliation, disbelief tangled inside me. My pride felt shredded. My mind screamed at me to do something, but I didn't know what. Then a thought came, sharp and cold. Revenge. I stood, pacing faster. No, not yet. I need to rebuild first. A knock on the window made me jump. Emma's face appeared outside. Sam, come down, please. I leaned against the wall, staring at her. I'm not ready. You can't hide forever, she said softly. Even if you want to hide? I'm not hiding, my voice cracked. I'm planning. I'm thinking, Emma frowned. Planning what? I looked away. To make her regret this. To make her see she can't break me. She nodded slowly. Then start somewhere. Start with yourself. Her words stayed with me. I sat back down, mind racing. Maybe she was right. I couldn't change the past, but I could sharpen myself. Build skills. Gain connections. Show the world I was more than her jokes. Vanessa's text popped up again. You're taking this too seriously. Relax. Life's short. I typed back slowly, deliberately. Life's short, and I intend to live it better than you ever imagined. A spark of determination flared. Rage mixed with resolve. I could feel the seed of revenge taking root. Not blind revenge. Smart, calculated, unstoppable. I opened my laptop. Emails, industry forums, new contacts. This was the first step. Learning, growing, building armor they could never penetrate again. Jacob's text buzzed. One more time. I know I wasn't supportive. I'll make it right. I stared at it. You had your chance, I whispered. Everyone had their chance, but I didn't delete it. Not yet. Allies would be useful. Hours passed. The room grew dark. Outside, the city hummed, unaware of my inner war. I poured coffee, opened documents, made plans, calculated moves. Vanessa's laughter echoed faintly in my mind, but now it fed me. I'm not her puppet anymore, I muttered. I'm not Jacob's shadow. I'm not anyone's joke. I leaned back, hands clenched. Tonight I'm humiliated. Tomorrow I rise. And with that, the first spark of my transformation ignited. Humiliation had burned me, yes, but it had also sharpened me. From pain I would grow. From rage I would build. And from betrayal I would rise. I shut my laptop. Darkness in the apartment felt alive, charged. I whispered one last promise into the empty room. They will regret this. I will rise. I will become unstoppable. I walked into the conference hall, trying to push the storm in my mind aside. The chandeliers glinted above, but all I could think about was Vanessa and the humiliation still burning in my chest. Sam, over here, a confident voice called. I turned sharply. A woman extended her hand, sharp eyes scanning me like she was analyzing a puzzle. Clara, I hear you're the one who survived last week's fiasco with remarkable composure. I raised an eyebrow. Fiasco? I asked, trying to keep my voice even. She smiled. Small, calculating. Yes, the little event at your company. It made quite a few headlines. Public humiliation can teach lessons or reveal potential. I frowned. Potential. You seem interesting, she said, leaning slightly forward. Not broken like most people would be. Determined. That's rare. I hesitated. Interesting can be dangerous. Why are you really talking to me? Her eyes sparkled. I'm not here to hurt you. I'm here to see who's worth watching and who can be an ally. An ally? I asked. At a time like this? Especially at a time like this, she said. People like Vanessa thrive on seeing others crumble. I prefer building power strategically. I studied her. Clever, sharp, confident, but I sensed integrity underneath the ambition. You sound like you've had your own battles, I said. Of course, she said, smirking. Everyone has enemies. It's how we respond that matters. And you, her eyes locked on mine. You didn't crumble. You plotted? I repeated. You sound like you know me already. I know enough, she said. Tell me this. What's your next move? I hesitated. I didn't trust her yet, but something about her made me want to speak. I plan to rebuild. Show them I'm not the same man. And I want to make sure Vanessa regrets the games she played. Clara leaned back, arms crossed. Ambitious. I like that. But you need more than anger to win. You need strategy, patience, leverage. I know, I said. I've been learning. Building connections, sharpening skills, but sometimes it feels like a lonely path. Her eyes softened. It is lonely. Most people don't understand what it takes to rise. But if you find someone who does, she paused, you can move mountains. I looked at her. Are you offering to be that someone? Maybe, she said, a hint of a smile playing on her lips. I don't align with weak players, but I respect determination. I chuckled softly. So, we're allies? Or rivals? Both depending on the day, she said. Competition keeps us sharp. Collaboration makes us unstoppable. I felt a spark ignite inside me. This was different. Unlike Vanessa, she wasn't trying to humiliate me. She saw potential in my skills, my mind. My anger transformed into focus. Tell me about her, Clara said suddenly, leaning forward. Vanessa. My jaw tightened. She's toxic. Thrives on control, humiliation, and manipulation. I thought I knew her, loved her, but it was all a game to her. Games make weak people suffer, Clara said. Strong people use the chaos to rise. And you, her gaze pierced me. You're strong, Sam. Strong enough to turn everything around. I swallowed. It's hard to believe sometimes. But talking to you, I feel like maybe it's possible that someone else sees what I see. Exactly, she said. I don't work with people I pity. I work with people I respect. And you have my respect. I felt a weight lift slightly from my shoulders. Respect, that's a foreign feeling right now. But thank you. Clara smirked again. Don't thank me yet. The work comes first. If we play this right, Vanessa won't know what hit her. I nodded. I like the sound of that. No blind revenge, just smart moves, patience, and precision. Yes, she said. And together, we can make sure you rise higher than she ever imagined. Professionally, personally, everything. For the first time since the humiliation, I felt a flicker of hope. Then let's start, I said, voice firm. I want to learn. I want to build. I want to win. Clara extended her hand. Then we begin. But remember, trust is earned, and every move counts. No mistakes. I shook her hand, determination hardening. No mistakes. As we walked through the hall, side by side, I realized something. This wasn't just a partnership. It was the first spark of a plan that could change everything. From humiliation to power. From betrayal to victory. And I had found my first true ally. Clara's office smelled of coffee and ambition. She leaned over the table, eyes scanning the spreadsheets I'd brought. You see this? She asked, pointing at the figures. Vanessa's team is strong, but their structure is sloppy. They overreach, underestimate small moves. I frowned. So, we hit the weak points first. Exactly, she said, tapping the paper. Subtle influence. Every action calculated. Don't rush. Patience is the real weapon. I nodded slowly. Patience easier said than done? My anger wants to explode. Clara smiled, sharp and knowing. Anger is fuel. Don't waste it recklessly. Channel it. Targeted, precise, deadly when necessary. I scribbled notes furiously. So first, build alliances. Yes. Quietly. Gather information. Gain trust where they least expect it. She leaned back, watching me. You've got potential, but you still hesitate. I'm learning, I admitted. After Vanessa, it's hard to trust anyone. I don't want to be blindsided again. Clara's eyes softened for a moment. Trust is earned, Sam, but don't let fear freeze you. Use it to sharpen your instincts, I exhaled. I hate that she has this hold over me, even now. She doesn't, Clara said firmly. Not if you play correctly. She only holds power over what you allow her to. I stared at the papers. And timing. How do we know when to strike? You don't, she said. We create the conditions. When the moment comes, we act. Until then, we prepare. Every move matters, even the invisible ones. I rubbed my forehead. Preparation? I can do that. It's action that scares me. The moment I make a wrong move? Clara interrupted, voice calm. No mistakes. That's why we plan, double-check, rehearse scenarios. Emotional decisions are dangerous. Calculated decisions win wars. I felt a rush of clarity. So we rebuild my reputation first. Show I'm competent, strategic. Slowly undermine her without her realizing it. Exactly, she said. Subtle wins are stronger than public victories. We set the stage. Then, when she's vulnerable, we take the big move. I laughed softly, bitter. I've waited so long for this patience, never came naturally. But it feels good, planning this way. Strategic. Smart. Clara tilted her head. It's satisfying because it's controlled. Unlike the chaos she threw at you. You can channel that anger now. Focus it. I felt a spark ignite. Channeling not blind revenge. Precision. Every step counts. Yes, Clara said, eyes glinting. And while we do that, we keep your public image spotless. Professional, competent, respected. Nothing flashy, nothing reckless. I jotted down ideas. Networking events, subtle achievements, highlighting my successes without arrogance. Exactly, she said. Let others see your rise without realizing it's intentional. The whispers, the influence. The alliances they build, a silent power no one suspects until it's too late. I looked at her. And you, Why are you helping me? You could compete with her too. Why align with me? Clara smiled faintly. Because I see someone willing to learn, willing to rise without burning bridges recklessly. That kind of player is rare. And revenge is sweeter when it's calculated, not emotional. I nodded, understanding. So anger becomes fuel, patience becomes the strategy, and every move is a step forward. Not just revenge transformation. Yes, she said. This is about more than Vanessa. This is about you. Becoming someone who can't be humiliated again. Someone powerful, respected. Someone unstoppable. I felt determination harden in my chest. Unstoppable. I like that. And the moment she realizes I've changed, Clara chuckled. She will. Subtly at first, doubt will creep in. She sensed the difference, even if she can't pinpoint why. And that is when the advantage shifts. I leaned back, mind racing. I never thought humiliation could teach me anything, but now it's a tool. A lesson. A motivator and a weapon, Clara added, tapping the table. Use it wisely. I closed my notebook, feeling the weight of what we were creating. So, step 1, alliances. Step 2, influence. Step 3, wait for the perfect strike. Step 4, rise above everything she's done to me. Clara smiled approvingly. Step 5, repeat if necessary. And remember, no shortcuts. This is a marathon, not a sprint. I nodded firmly. No shortcuts. Every move calculated. Every action precise. I won't let her or anyone else humiliate me again. Good, Clara said, standing. Then let's get to work. Late nights, strategy sessions, subtle manipulations. Are you ready? I stood, eyes bright with focus. I'm ready. More than I've ever been in my life, she extended her hand. Then let's start. I shook it firmly. Together, as we walked out of the office, plans in motion, I felt a new fire inside me. The humiliation, the rage, the betrayal, all of it became fuel. And with Clara by my side, I knew something had shifted. I was no longer the naive man she thought she destroyed. I was sharper, stronger, and ready. Tonight, the comeback began. The boardroom smelled of tension and expensive coffee. I sat at the table, notes neatly arranged, heart pounding but steady. Vanessa strode in, heels clicking, confidence radiating, or trying to. Sam, she said, smiling that infuriatingly perfect smile. Glad you could make it. Ready to present your findings? I returned a calm smile. Absolutely. I think you'll find them insightful. Her eyes flicked to Clara, sitting beside me. She scowled slightly but said nothing. The meeting began. Numbers, charts, projections. Vanessa spoke confidently, highlighting her team's successes. I listened, noting weaknesses. Timing, tone, pauses. Every gesture, every word, Clara whispered softly now. I cleared my throat. Actually, I'd like to point out something about the Q2 projections. All eyes turned to me. Vanessa's smile tightened. Yes, she asked, masking irritation. I pulled up a chart. These numbers assume client retention will continue at current rates. But there's a recent trend I think we overlooked. Vanessa frowned. Trend? What trend? Client feedback indicates dissatisfaction with response times. If not addressed, projected growth could drop by 15% next quarter. I tapped the chart. Even with your strategy, this risk remains unmitigated. A few murmurs spread around the room. Vanessa's confidence wavered. We've been monitoring that, she said, voice a little sharper. Yes. But your mitigation plan doesn't account for escalation cases, I added. We risk losing key accounts if adjustments aren't made. She blinked. That's not entirely accurate. I double-checked the data, I said calmly. Here are the specifics. I handed out my own report. I believe a more targeted approach will prevent potential losses and improve client satisfaction. Vanessa's lips pressed together. I see. Her usual poise cracked just slightly. I could see it. The room noticed to Clara leaned in. I agree with Sam. These adjustments could prevent significant setbacks. It's worth considering. Vanessa's eyes flicked to Clara, then back at me. Fine, we'll review this. She cleared her throat. Thank you, Sam. Very thorough. The meeting moved on, but I felt the shift. Subtle, quiet, yet undeniable. Vanessa's control weakened. Her gaze occasionally flicked toward me, sharp, calculating. Jacob leaned over, whispering, "That was impressive. You handled her perfectly." I nodded, whispering back, "Patience, precision. That's all it takes." After the meeting, colleagues came up to me. "Sam, great insight. I didn't expect that level of analysis. You handled Vanessa well." I nodded. Words unnecessary. Their recognition was enough. Clara smiled beside me. "You've changed." The old Sam would have stumbled, panicked. Now look at you, calm, strategic, confident. I shrugged modestly. "I had a good teacher," she smirked. "Not me yourself. I guided you, yes. But the fire inside your drive made this happen." I felt a surge of pride, mixed with a subtle, satisfying vindication. Vanessa thought she'd humiliated me, crushed me. Yet here I was, standing taller, exposing flaws she hadn't anticipated, and earning respect in the process. I caught Vanessa's eye for a brief moment. She was smiling, but it didn't reach her eyes. That was all I needed. The first strike landed, and the balance had begun to shift. Later, as we walked down the hall, Clara whispered, "This is only the beginning. One careful move at a time, and soon she won't know what hit her." I nodded. "The first strike feels good, but it's just the start. I can't get complacent." She laughed softly. "Complacent? Not you. You've transformed anger into strategy. That's a dangerous combination for anyone who underestimated you." I smiled faintly. Glancing back at Vanessa across the hall, she caught my gaze again, trying to mask it, but there was tension there now. Satisfaction surged quietly inside me. Subtle, controlled, yet delicious. I took a deep breath. Every humiliation she caused me, every laugh, every sneer, it's fuel, and I'm turning it into power. Clara raised an eyebrow. "Careful. Power is seductive. Don't let it blind you. Use it wisely." "I will," I said firmly. "Patience, precision, strategy. Every move calculated." She nodded approvingly. "Good. Keep this momentum. Build alliances, gather intelligence, and keep your image untarnished. She won't see the full impact until it's too late." I let the words sink in. The humiliation, the betrayal, all of it had sharpened me. Vanessa's overconfidence had become my opportunity. "That's exactly why I needed someone like you," Clara added. "You understand? And you've taken the first step." I exhaled, feeling the shift inside me. First strike, but not the last. "She'll regret underestimating me." Clara smirked, walking beside me. "And by the time she realizes it, you'll already be too far ahead." I glanced back at Vanessa one last time. Her poise was intact, but I could sense her doubt now. My lips curved in a faint, cold smile. This was only the beginning. Clara and I sat in our office late at night, the city lights outside casting shadows across the room. Files and charts were scattered on the table, but our conversation had drifted from business. I have to admit I began cautiously. "Even after the first strike today, I can't stop thinking about her, Vanessa. The humiliation she caused me, it runs. It's deeper than I expected." Clara tilted her head, curious. "Go on." I took a deep breath. I thought I was careful, smart. But seeing her smug face at that party, the way everyone laughed at me, it broke something inside me. And the worst part is, I trusted her. I loved her. She nodded slowly, understanding. Betrayal cuts deeper when it comes from someone close. I know that feeling. I glanced at her. You do?" She exhaled, leaning back. "Yes. I had a rival once, a partner who betrayed me publicly. Thought she could take everything I built. I was humiliated in front of the board, just like you. I was furious, but I had to learn to channel it." That anger became my drive. I felt a spark of connection. So you understand why I can't just let this go. It's not just professional. It's personal. It's like every move she made was designed to crush me completely. Clara's eyes softened. Exactly. And the truth is, those experiences shape us. They teach us what we're capable of when we refuse to be defeated. I swallowed hard. Sometimes I think about confronting her. Telling her exactly what she did, but I know that would be emotional, reckless, and I don't want that version of me to come out again. Good, she said. You've grown since then. That fire you feel now isn't blind, Rigit's calculated. That's what makes you dangerous. I laughed bitterly. Dangerous, never thought I'd see myself that way. But it feels powerful, knowing I'm not the same man who stood there humiliated. Clara smiled faintly. Powerful, yes. But there's more to it. You're learning to trust yourself. To rely on your instincts without letting emotion control you. That's why I respect you, Sam. I met her gaze. I trust you too. More than I've trusted anyone in months. And maybe that's why I'm telling you all this. She leaned in slightly, curious. All of what? All of it, I said. The anger, the humiliation, the lingering bitterness. I don't just want revenge, I want to rise above her completely. But I needed someone to understand why it matters so much. Clara nodded slowly. I understand, Sam, and I've shared my struggles because I know what it's like to face someone who wants to destroy you. That connection, it matters. It makes us stronger, not weaker. I felt a warmth inside me I hadn't felt in months. Not from victory, not from strategy, but from understanding. From someone else who truly got it. You know, I said quietly, I thought this journey was only about proving myself, getting revenge. But talking to you, it's different. It's not just about her anymore. It's about building something meaningful, something lasting. Clara's eyes softened. Exactly. Revenge is satisfying, but genuine connection that changes everything. It turns pain into growth, humiliation into strategy, and frustration into focus. I leaned back in my chair, exhaling slowly. I never realized how isolated I was. How much I needed someone who understood without judgment. That's why we work well together, Clara said. We balance each other, strategically and personally. I see your potential, and you see mine. Together, we're stronger than anyone who underestimated us. I smiled faintly, a real smile this time. Stronger. I like the sound of that. Not just a fighter, but for myself. To finally feel like I'm in control of my life again. Clara nodded. Control isn't just about winning. It's about understanding who you are, what you want, and how far you're willing to go to achieve it. I looked out the window, city lights reflecting in my eyes. And for the first time, I feel like I'm not just chasing revenge. I'm creating a life that's mine. And maybe, just maybe, I'm ready to trust again, even a little. Clara smiled softly. Good. That trust will make you unstoppable. Remember, power without connection is hollow. Power with understanding that's unstoppable. I nodded, letting her words sink in. For the first time since Vanessa, I felt a shift, not just in my career or revenge plans, but in me. This partnership, this understanding, it was real. And it was just the beginning. The boardroom was tense, charged with the weight of anticipation. Vanessa strutted in, radiant confidence plastered on her face. But I could see the tension in her eyes. Sam, she said smoothly, her smile almost mocking. I hear you've been making waves. Quite ambitious, aren't you? I returned her smile evenly. Ambitious enough to notice opportunities she overlooked. She blinked. Opportunities? What do you mean? Clara leaned slightly toward me, whispering, Stay calm. Let her underestimate you. She always does. I nodded, letting the plan guide my words. Well, Vanessa, your recent strategy report seems optimistic, especially the client retention projections. There's something worth discussing. Vanessa frowned slightly. Discussing what exactly? I clicked through my presentation. The data suggests that several accounts are at risk due to oversight in escalation management. Your mitigation plan doesn't fully address the issue. Gasps rippled around the room. Vanessa's perfectly poised expression faltered. That's inaccurate. Not at all, I said, pointing to the figures. These trends are clear. If we don't adjust, losses are likely. And I've outlined solutions that could prevent this. She opened her mouth, searching for a rebuttal, but my presentation was solid. Every number cross-checked. Every claim verified. I saw the color drain slightly from her face. Vanessa's voice cracked for the first time in months. You think you know better? I think the numbers speak for themselves, I said calmly. And the adjustments I propose are realistic and actionable. This isn't personal, it's about protecting our company's interests. Clara nodded in support. He's right. These adjustments are necessary. Ignoring them risks serious consequences. Vanessa's hands trembled slightly as she flipped through the documents. I don't see why this should be discussed now. It's premature. I leaned forward, voice steady. Timing is everything, Vanessa. And the timing is now. Otherwise, the impact could be irreversible. Whispers started around the room. Colleagues exchanged glances, impressed by my calm authority. Vanessa's eyes darted nervously. I could feel the shift in power. She no longer dominated the room. You're trying to embarrass me, she spat finally. Her tone sharp but cracking. I'm trying to prevent mistakes, I said evenly. Embarrassment isn't my goal. Results are, Vanessa's jaw tightened. This is sabotage. You're undermining me publicly? Not sabotage, I said. Professional diligence. That's all. Clara leaned back, a small, satisfied smile on her face. Professional diligence looks a lot like foresight when done correctly. And Sam has plenty of that. Vanessa's face flushed. You think you're clever? But everyone will see through you. I'll make sure of it. I shook my head. No, Vanessa. The numbers and facts don't lie. And people respect results more than empty threats. You've built a house of cards on arrogance, and it's falling. The room grew quiet. I noticed colleagues nodding subtly, whispering affirmations to each other. Vanessa's charm was crumbling. Every carefully constructed defense, every smile meant to conceal weakness, was failing. She grabbed her papers, voice rising. This isn't over. I'll fix this. You'll see. You, Vanessa, I interrupted calmly. You've had your chance to lead responsibly. This is the consequence of neglect and pride. No one questions your intelligence. People question your judgment. Her eyes widened in shock. You've underestimated me, I said. You've underestimated Clara. You've underestimated the people around you who actually care about results. And that's why this is happening. I watched her shoulders slump slightly, the public facade cracking. Her phone buzzed, repeatedly texts. Calls, but she ignored them, flustered. Colleagues exchanged glances, some hiding smiles. Others shaking their heads in disbelief. I felt a strange mix of satisfaction and reflection. Satisfaction for the karmic justice unfolding, and reflection for how far I'd come from humiliation to control. The anger that once consumed me had transformed into precision and patience. Clara whispered softly beside me, "Well done. You handled that perfectly." I exhaled, feeling the tension drain. It feels surreal. Watching her lose control after everything she put me through. She nodded. This is the natural outcome. Arrogance, cruelty, manipulation, they always catch up. But remember, this isn't the end. It's part of a bigger picture. I nodded slowly. I understand. And I'll make sure every move from here on is calculated. No emotion, no mistakes. Just results. Vanessa left the room shortly after, face pale, eyes downcast, muttering under her breath. I felt a quiet victory, not loud, not gloating, but undeniable. As the boardroom emptied, I turned to Clara. The first strike worked. But more importantly, I feel like I finally stepped into my own power. This is only the beginning. She smiled faintly. Nope, it is. And with your patience and focus, no one will underestimate you again. Not Vanessa, not anyone. I exhaled, the weight of months of humiliation lifting slightly. From here, it's about building, not just revenge. But watching her crumble, it's a lesson I'll never forget. Clara's hand rested lightly in mine as we stood in the small, sunlit courtyard. The flowers swayed gently, and the sound of birds filled the quiet space. "Are you nervous?" Clara asked, her lips curving into a faint smile. "Honestly?" I chuckled. "I'm more excited than nervous. Feels surreal, doesn't it? After everything, here we are." She squeezed my hand. "It does. But I wouldn't be here if I didn't trust you, fully, professionally, and personally." I looked at her, feeling the weight of every battle, every late-night strategy session, every humiliation turned into fuel. "Neither would I. We've built this together. Not just revenge, but something real. Something lasting." The officiant cleared his throat. "We are gathered here." I glanced at Clara, catching the spark in her eyes. "Promise me something?" I whispered. "Anything that we keep each other grounded. No matter the victories, the power we don't lose ourselves." She smiled softly. "I promise. And you?" "I promise the same. Loyalty, honesty, partnership in everything," the officiant continued. "Do you, Sam, take Clara to be your partner in life, in work, in love?" "I do," I said firmly, looking into her eyes. "With everything I am, and with everything I've learned from the past, how to value trust, integrity, and strength. Do you, Clara?" "Take Sam, I do," she replied without hesitation, her hand gripping mine. I felt a quiet triumph. Not loud, not gloating, but deeply satisfying. The journey from humiliation to control, from rage to strategy, had led to this moment. After the ceremony, as we stepped out, the few close friends and colleagues who had been invited applauded. The smiles were genuine, but I knew the ripple would reach further. Vanessa would hear eventually. "She hate this," I whispered, a faint smirk tugging at my lips. Clara laughed softly. "Let her. We didn't do this for her. We did this for us. For our partnership, for our growth, I know," I admitted. "But I can't deny the satisfaction of knowing she'll feel the shock." The contrast between her arrogance and our success, Clara's eyes softened. "It's a victory, yes, but it's not about crushing her. It's about proving that integrity, patience, and strategy outlast cruelty." I nodded, feeling that truth in my chest. "Exactly. This isn't just revenge, it's transformation. The man I was humiliated and bitter, he's gone. I'm stronger, smarter, more focused. And I have someone who understands me completely." She leaned her head slightly against my shoulder. "And I have someone who trusts me, respects me, and sees me as an equal. That's rare. Rare and worth protecting," I said. Every step we took, the late nights, the plans, the careful maneuvers led to this. Not just revenge, but balance. I caught a glimpse of one of our colleagues quietly whispering to another, eyes wide. "They didn't see this coming," I muttered, smirking. "Nor did anyone," Clara said. "But that's the point." We didn't react to humiliation with anger alone. We reacted with strategy, growth, and loyalty. That's why this matters. I thought about Vanessa, her arrogance, her attempts to dominate me. Every humiliation she caused, every sneer, every public joke, it all taught me something. I didn't just recover, I evolved. And now, this is the proof. Clara squeezed my hand. Proof not just to her, but to ourselves. That we can rise above cruelty without becoming cruel. That we can turn pain into progress. I exhaled, feeling the sunlight on my face, the warmth of her hand in mine. This wedding, this partnership, it's more than a symbol. It's the culmination of every lesson learned, every battle fought, every sleepless night of planning, every moment of self-doubt turned into focus. She looked up at me, eyes glinting. "And we do it together. Always." I smiled faintly, a mix of pride and relief. Together. No shortcuts. No regrets. And no room for anyone who tried to hold us back. The day felt suspended in time, quiet but powerful testament to our journey. I felt my heart swell not with anger, not with revenge, but with gratitude, respect, and a deep satisfaction. We had risen not through cruelty, but through strategy, growth, and trust. As the small group dispersed, leaving us alone for a moment, I whispered, "Clara, I can't imagine doing this with anyone else." She smiled softly. "Nor can I, Sam. This is ours." Every victory, every lesson, every triumph shared. I looked at her, feeling the weight of the journey behind us and the promise of the future ahead. "Then let's make sure every step forward is as calculated, as meaningful, and as unstoppable as today." Clara nodded, linking her fingers with mine. "We will. And no one, no Vanessa, no rival, no obstacle will ever underestimate us again." I exhaled, letting the moment settle. This wedding was more than a ceremony. It was a declaration. We had risen together, stronger than ever. The office was quiet that morning, sunlight streaming across the sleek conference table. Clara and I sat side by side, reviewing quarterly reports. The rhythm of work felt calm, yet charged with purpose. "Sam," Clara said, glancing up from her notes, "can you believe how far we've come? From that first strike to now, it's almost surreal." I leaned back, smiling faintly. "I know, sometimes I still think about the humiliation, the betrayal. And now look at us. Leading, respected, unstoppable." She smirked. "Unstoppable, huh? Sounds like you've embraced the title well." I chuckled. "I've learned that power isn't about crushing people. It's about rising above. Strategy, patience, and trust, that's how we win. That's how we lead." Clara nodded. "Exactly. And look at Vanessa, she's gone. Disappeared from the industry. Her arrogance left her isolated. Funny how karma works." I exhaled slowly. "I won't lie, there's satisfaction there. But it's quiet. I don't gloat. It's more reflection. Every betrayal, every humiliation, they were the catalysts. Without them, I wouldn't have grown, wouldn't have learned what matters." Clara leaned in slightly. "You've changed, Sam, not just in business, but everything. You're calmer, smarter, more focused. And you found something deeper than revenge." I looked at her, warmth rising. "Yes, you. Partnership, trust, love. Those were unexpected. I thought this journey was only about reclaiming what I lost. But it became about building something better. Something real." She smiled softly. "And we did, together, professionally and personally. That's rare." I nodded, glancing at the city's skyline outside the window. "It is, and I realize now, humiliation can be fuel. Anger can be direction. Loss can teach resilience. But only if you use it, not let it consume you." Clara's eyes softened. "That's why you're different now. You didn't just survive, you evolved. You didn't just get revenge, you built strength. And that strength that inspires people." I exhaled, letting the truth sink in. Inspiring wasn't my goal. I just wanted to reclaim dignity. But in the process, I discovered what real power is. Not dominance, not fear, respect, trust, and integrity. Clara laughed lightly. "Power and peace, then. I like it." "And you found both," I smiled faintly. Thinking back on every late-night strategy session, every calculated move, every moment of doubt turned into focus. Yes, power, but with peace, and it feels right. Finally, she leaned back, crossing her arms, eyes sparkling. "And we keep building. The industry respects us now, but more importantly, we respect each other. That's what sustains everything." I nodded, feeling a quiet pride. "And Vanessa? She's out of the picture. No grudges, just consequence. She chose arrogance, isolation, and vanity over substance. The rest is history." Clara tilted her head, smirking. "History written by those who rise above, not by those who destroy others. You've truly become a power player, Sam." I chuckled softly. "I suppose so. But not by crushing anyone, not by malice. Just by growing, learning, and staying focused. Every mistake, every betrayal, they became lessons. not excuses for bitterness. Clara smiled warmly. And you did it while keeping integrity intact. That's rare. That's why people follow you, respect you. That's real power. I leaned back, letting the sunlight warm my face, Clara's hand brushing mine. It's strange, I said quietly. I started this journey broken, humiliated and angry. Now I'm fulfilled, respected, and connected. Love and success weren't mutually exclusive. They were the result of learning, patience, and focus. Clara squeezed my hand. Exactly. You've mastered the balance. Power and peace aren't opposites. They're a choice. And you chose wisely. I nodded, letting the weight of the past months settle into quiet satisfaction. Betrayal became my catalyst. Humiliation became my strategy. Loss became my strength. And love became my anchor. That's the journey I'll never forget. She smiled softly. And now, we move forward. Together. Stronger. Wiser. Unstoppable. I looked at her, city lights glinting in the distance. Together. Always. We rise above not by destroying others, but by building ourselves. That's the legacy I want to leave. Clara's eyes met mine. And it begins now. Every day we choose focus, integrity, and trust. That's power. That's peace. I exhaled slowly, feeling the calm certainty of the moment. Power and peace. That's exactly what we have. And nothing. No past betrayal, no rival, no obstacle can take it from us now. I sat at my desk late at night, the office quiet except for the hum of the city outside. A stack of blank stationery lay before me, and I picked up a pen, unsure if I was writing to release or to remember. Sam, Clara's voice echoed softly behind me. Still at it? I smiled faintly without turning. Yeah. Going over the past, trying to make sense of it, she leaned on the doorframe, arms crossed. Does revisiting it help? Or does it just reopen old wounds? Neither, I said, shaking my head. It doesn't hurt anymore. Not really. It's more clarity. I need to understand how I became who I am, and where I was before all this. Clara nodded slowly. And do you? I paused, pen hovering over paper. I think so. I see the humiliation, the betrayal, the heartbreak, and I see the lessons. The nights I doubted myself, the rage that consumed me, they all shaped my strategy, my resilience, my focus. Letters, she asked quietly. I nodded. Letters I'll never send. To Vanessa. Not to hurt her, not to lash out, but to release the bitterness that lingered far too long. Every word is mine, every thought reclaimed. Clara moved closer, watching me write. I like that. Not revenge. Not anger. Just release. That's powerful, I wrote slowly, carefully choosing my words. You think you could destroy me? You thought humiliation would break me. But all you did was ignite me. You taught me patience, strategy, and focus. And for that I almost thank you. Clara tilted her head, smiling softly. Almost? I laughed quietly. Almost. I'm human. Some bitterness remains, if only as a reminder of what I overcame. But it's no longer toxic. It's fuel, not poison. She leaned on the edge of my desk. That's growth, Sam. From shame to power, from anger to control. I exhaled, looking at the words forming on the page. Every humiliation, every betrayal, they were lessons in disguise. I just didn't realize it at the time. And now, after everything, I understand my own strength, my own worth. I understand what it means to rise above. Clara's eyes softened. And Vanessa? I paused, pen in hand. Vanessa, she was a catalyst. Not a villain in my story anymore. She represents the past I had to overcome. Every scheming smile, every public jab, it's all part of the path that led me to clarity and power. She nodded slowly. So the letters aren't for her, they're for you. Exactly, I said, smiling faintly. I write, I release, and I close that chapter. No lingering resentment, No wasted energy. The man she humiliated is gone. The man I am now is unbreakable, grounded, and in control. Clara placed a hand on my shoulder. And you've done it without losing yourself, without becoming someone cruel. That's true victory. I nodded, the weight of years lifting slightly. True victory isn't crushing others. It's understanding yourself, mastering your mind, and turning pain into purpose. Every mistake, every betrayal, every sleepless night, they became strategy, focus, and insight. And now I can see clearly, without the haze of anger. She smiled softly. And with that clarity, you can move forward. Nothing from the past can hold you back. I set the pen down, feeling a calm satisfaction. Yes, I've reclaimed myself. Every humiliation, every heartbreak, they were lessons in resilience. I've transformed shame into wisdom, betrayal into strategy, and anger into focus. And now I can finally live fully, without fear or bitterness. Clara nodded, her gaze steady. And that's something no one can take from you. I exhaled slowly, feeling the truth in her words. Exactly. The past shaped me, but it doesn't define me. My identity isn't tied to humiliation or revenge anymore. It's tied to strength, clarity, and purpose. That's real power. That's real peace. She smiled warmly. Then it settled. The story ends with justice, not blind vengeance, but self-actualization. I looked at the letters I had written, a stack of unsent words that held all my lingering emotions. Justice, peace, power, all reclaimed. And now, the next chapter isn't about the past, it's about what we build from here. Clara nodded. Exactly, and I'll be right there with you. I exhaled, letting the quiet night settle around us. From shame to strength, from anger to clarity, this is the journey I'll never forget. And this is the victory I'll always carry.